Well, hello, and welcome to episode 212 of Drink the Movies. I am Brian here, as always, with Michaela. And Michaela, we have recently started here as a Drink the Movies offshoot to Drink the Video Games. But one of the video games that is basically the king of all video games, being the top selling video game of all time, being acquired for $2.5 billion. This world of Minecraft is a world that you and I don't understand, and it is a world that is vast and unexplored, and you can do anything you want in it. So when it was time to make a Minecraft movie, that is exactly what they did. They went to the source, and today we're going to be talking about it.
Today, we're going to be talking about it. I am actually wanting to know from a Drink the Video Games perspective, your special take on this movie, because you have a history of playing and enjoying video games of all kinds.
Mhm.
Um, and for those of you who have never gone and listened to Drink the Video Games, do yourself a favor and do it, because even if you're not a huge video game fan, there's so much information. It's like really cool to learn about. There is a drink. I make a special appearance in every one to talk about a drink that we make for it, and it's just really cool. But I wanted to, I do want to get your take on this, because I think you're, as a video game player, maybe who isn't a Minecraft huge like fan, super fan, you've got a different slice of viewpoint than say me, who's never done any video games ever, and then those who love and live and breathe that kid in the front row when we were watching it, the one who was jumping up and down
He's
every 5 seconds.
he's losing his
Um,
mind. Yeah, yeah. He had
he's
a
so
he had a very
excited.
different perspective than we did. Yeah, for sure. And we'll talk about that a little bit as someone who can kind of see these things on the periphery a little bit more maybe than you who aren't quite as familiar with the video games
Mm,
inner workings.
sure.
But we'll talk about all that when we get to the main section of the movie. Because before we get into this, Michaela, this movie is wacky and bonkers. And if you don't know anything about Minecraft, what we're about to say isn't going to make any sense. But stay right here and make the cocktail with us, and that's going to help us build out a good episode. Build out a good episode. So let's see what I did there,
I
Michaela. That
see
was
what you
pretty
did
good.
there.
I was very happy with myself. All right, let's take a quick break, and we'll be right back to mix up this week's cocktail.
So, Brian, I've never played Minecraft, and my son only got into it recently. And so I was trying to understand the world of Minecraft, right? And one of the things
Okay.
that the movie says is that we mine and then we craft, and we can make anything in the world, like anything your heart desires. You can make a pink house out of sheep wool. You can do
Hmm.
anything, but it has to be in blocks. And some of the blocks are made out of dirt. And so when we found this recipe from the Drunken Moogle, I'm hoping I'm saying that right. Moogle, not Moogle.
Moogle, yeah.
Moogle, the Drunken Moogle. We were like, we have found it. Not only does this make sense from a video game aesthetic perspective, but it also looked darn delicious.
It's it. It's it. Yeah, it looked darn delicious. It is a dirt block, and yeah, that is the basic, I guess, building material in the Minecraft world. As a Minecraft never player myself, but that seems to be the case. And yeah, you can make anything you want. So why would you not want to make a dirt block cocktail that is easy and delicious? And that is exactly what the Drunken Moogle did, and that is exactly what we tried to do. Unfortunately, we did not have a square glass, so sorry about that. Don't judge us too harshly there on the socials, but I digress. I digress. Michaela, this cocktail was easy. It was delicious. I mean, we're gonna go through the ingredients, and anyone listening out there is gonna be like, yeah, it sounds pretty good. And, spoiler warning, it was pretty good. But I think there are a couple of ways you could play around with this as well to suit
Yeah,
your particular flavor once it needs. But why don't you tell us about that?
I will. All right. So into a rocks glass, you're going to add some ice. You're going to add 1.5 ounces of French vanilla Kahlua, 1.5 ounces of your favorite amaretto, and 3 ounces of chocolate milk. Then you're going to look at this and you're going to say, it needs something more. And that's when you're going to use my favorite ingredient, probably of anything in the whole world, and that is crushed Oreos. And you're just going to
Mm,
drizzle a few of those on the top so it looks kind of dirty, kind of weird. The chocolate milk is going to mix a little bit with the Kahlua and the amaretto, but not much, and that's okay. It's supposed to look really wonky because that's how a dirt block looks, right?
mhm.
And then you can stir it if you want to make it all uniform, but you don't have to. You can just dive right in, and that's what I did. And holy moly, this was a dessert in a glass. It's very, very good.
Yeah, it was very, very good. It was a little bit on the sweet side, we both thought, but it was really nice. Obviously, if you use a good quality chocolate milk, I know there's one in particular that you're a big fan of, but you could do that. You could just use some regular white milk with some chocolate syrup. You could probably even like go ahead and throw some Oreos there into your white milk and get it a little bit chocolatey that way. But yeah, this was really good. It was very much a dessert in a glass kind of a thing, and it was pretty fun to drink. Now, the French vanilla Kahlua, which is how it's labeled in the recipe. Kahlua now is just sold as vanilla Kahlua. I don't know if they dropped the French somewhere along the line, but just vanilla Kahlua is going to work, and you can totally play around with that. We, for example, thought that it would probably be better with the amaretto and just regular straight up Kahlua. To cut back on a
Mhm.
little bit of that sweetness. Or I had the thought of swapping the amaretto out for some Frangelico, which is going to give you a hazelnut slant, turn it into a Nutella kind of thing. But I thought that those would be some good ideas. Michaela, were there any variants on this that you thought of or thought that you might enjoy a little bit more?
Yeah, I mean, there is a walnut liqueur that was out there once, and I can't remember the name of it. But that was something that because I was like, it needs to be nutty. For some reason, I always think that amaretto is cherry, and it's not. It's almond. Nocello is this really popular walnut
Hmm.
kind of liqueur. That would be kind of interesting. But I think it would probably taste too Christmassy for me. I don't know.
Okay. Hmm.
I
Yeah.
don't know why walnuts remind me of the holiday season,
Those
but
are
I think
chestnuts roasting
I
on the open
know,
fire.
but I never can find chestnuts, so we always
Oh.
did walnuts. Okay, we just would hammer them out and roast. I don't know, they were gross. Anyway, I think that that would be a good way to do it. I thought that this was a bit sweet myself. I really liked it. Again, it depends on the level of chocolate milk. If you did like a less sugary chocolate milk, I used Promised Land, which is like super super rich and very tasty. But I think you're right. If you are worried about it being super, super sweet, cut out the French vanilla and use regular Kahlua. And then even if you want to play around with the amounts, because we did equal parts Kahlua and amaretto.
Mhm.
If you wanted to taper that down a little bit and just have the hint of amaretto, because it was pretty in your face, I thought. Not bad if you really like that flavor, but to me it was awfully sweet. So
Yeah, for sure. This one was delicious and easy to adapt for your own palate out there. So, why don't we do this, Michaela? Let's go ahead and grab another one of these. We're going to get on any number of devices right now that has the ability to play Minecraft because it's basically every rectangle that is within like a square, like 1,000 mile radius of ourselves. We'll get into the overworld. Is that what it's called? We'll do that, and we'll be right back to chat about this week's film, a Minecraft movie.
But the call of the mines was too strong. So one day, I started digging and digging until I found this. A wonderland where anything you can imagine is possible. As long as what you imagine can be built out of blocks.
you know what you do, Brian, when you find the orb of dominance and the earth crystal. You know what you do? You notice that the orb isn't an orb at all, but a cube, and it looks an
Cube.
awful lot like the Tesseract. But I
Hmm.
digress. I
Hmm.
digress. Spoiler warning for a Minecraft movie. If you've not yet seen it, you're in the minority because a billion people came to watch this movie with us, surrounded by us this weekend. But we're going to talk about all the things, including the end and all of the really cool stuff that we get to see. So if you don't want that to be spoiled, you should press pause, go make yourself up a dirt block cocktail because it's delicious. Go watch this movie and then come back so we can chat about all the things.
That's right, absolutely. And it did just come out, so you might not have had a chance to see it yet because this was just released in 2025. It was directed by Jared Hess and it stars Jason Momoa as Garrett, the former video game champion, aka the Garbage Man. Danielle Brooks plays Dawn, the real estate agent slash petting zoo expert. Emma Myers and Sebastian Hansen play siblings trying to set up in a new town, Natalie and Henry. And Jack Black plays Steve, the expert crafter tasked with getting everyone back home. So, Michaela, you asked me at the top, right, from a like drink the video game game standpoint, what's the deal with Minecraft? And Minecraft is a big deal. If the 150-ish million dollars it made in its opening weekend was not enough to tell you that, if you have kids out there, they no doubt have played Minecraft for 1,000 hours, building worlds and running around and exploring and doing all the things because it's basically like a virtual Lego set. So you can do anything you want with the tools at your hand. It's definitely very good for your creativity. So Minecraft, it was created by Marcus Notch Person, and it was released as a pre-released build in 2009, and then it got its full official release in 2011. A mere 3 years later, Minecraft had become big enough the Microsoft was going to acquire it for 2.5 billion with a B dollars. And as I mentioned, Michaela, it is available to play anywhere. You can play it on your phone, you can play it on your iPad, you can play it on your TV, you can play it on your PlayStation, your Xbox, your Nintendo. You can go watch the movie now in your movie theater. And also, it was purchased by Microsoft. That means that it is available on every personal computer that you can get. And part of the reason that Minecraft is so exponentially huge with people is because if you have a kid and they're like in the public school system, they're probably going to get some sort of like pad or laptop to use for their learning. And Minecraft is going to be on that because of the Microsoft of all of it. Minecraft roughly has 170 million people playing the game every month, which is pretty good. And it is the top selling video game of all time. 300 million copies of Minecraft have made it out into the world. So Minecraft is a pretty big deal. And I think that you and I both underestimated that. Now, I knew, like, from a video game standpoint, that Minecraft was huge. I knew it was a big deal, huge thing, huge, big deal, but I was not prepared for the onslaught of Minecraft fans at our opening weekend screening.
I was not prepared either. First of all, that was an amazing intro
Oh, thank you.
into this. Thank you very much. Drink the video games. Everybody, go check it out because it's that stuff all day. It's simply brilliant. However,
On a quick aside, Minecraft, which came out in 2011, I think the most recent game I've done on Drink the Video Games came out in 1998, but I digress.
that's okay. That's okay. But it's still amazing to hear about. So, I feel like if we were in the 50s and we both identified as girls, and
Mhm,
we went and saw the Beatles on the Ed Sullivan Show, perhaps maybe
mhm,
that
mhm,
would have prepared us for the amount of crazy, the amount of complete pandemonium that happened during our viewing. Look, we went on a Saturday. We went on the Saturday night, the main showing, the 7 p.m. showing. It was full. It was chock-a-block full of people.
mhm.
I hadn't realized how lucky we were to even get seats, but we did. And everyone was losing their mind. There were things that were obviously things that happened in the game that people were super nostalgic about and very excited to see. And it was all of that was lost on me. But I got to tell you, I didn't care one bit. It was so much fun. Everybody was having the best time. Even myself, who had no idea what was going on 80% of the time.
Yeah, for
Okay.
sure. They were also showing the film in 4DX. We didn't. We just saw the regular IMAX version of it, but
Mm.
4DX is always fun, so it would have been like a complete like madhouse in there with the seats moving and
Oh yeah.
environmental stuff going on and everyone screaming because yeah, like I saw online like people like were like comparing it to like the Avengers Assemble like moment of Endgame basically, right? Of that, but it was like that reaction like 50 times
Yeah.
throughout the
Oh
film,
yeah.
right? Like it was
Oh
it was
yeah.
bananas. It was bananas. So good
Yep.
on you. Minecraft movie did all the things to hit all the Easter eggs in all the perfect ways. Now, what does that do for the legs of the series of Minecraft movies? I don't know. We could talk about that after we talk about the movie a little bit. Let's talk about the movie a little bit. And the movie itself, to be quite honest, is pretty thin. Not a lot going on, right? Obviously, everyone kind of goes to this Minecraft world and have to figure out a way to get back. So let's do it this way, Michaela. Let's talk about these characters here. We can kind of break them down into like these four, I don't know, like people that that get sent to the underworld, and then we'll talk about Steve, right? Because Steve is kind of the main character here. So let's
Sure.
start here. I'll start with the brother and sister pair. We've got Emma Myers playing Natalie, and Sebastian Hansen playing Henry, her younger brother. So Natalie is kind of put in the stead of her younger brother. Seems like she's like, I don't know, like still college age. Seemed like she's pretty young, but she's moving to this new town, which is cheap and affordable. She can go there and live. She's got a job at this potato chip plant. So that's pretty good. She's like trying to get themselves established, trying to, set a good example for her younger brother, Henry there. And Henry is kind of an odd duck, right? He's very like STEM-minded in this like small town with, small town attitudes and ideals and things like that. So he's a bit of an outsider. I have to say the character development for all these cats is pretty thin, but that's okay. That's okay because that is not the reason we're here at all. So, so Henry's going to be pretty excited when he runs across this very, very eccentric character in town who runs a video game store. Michaela, why don't you tell us about Jason Momoa?
Oh, okay. Jason Momoa is Garrett. He plays Garrett the garbage man, Garrison, who owns like this failing video game store in a Chugless. If that's a real town, good on you, people, because that's a weird name. Chugless,
Mm-hmm.
Idaho. Okay. He uh he is really hard up on cash. He's I don't know, they show him he's got with like three eviction notices. He goes to like the storage auction to acquire some items so he can make some cash. And he gets a bunch of stuff. And that's kind of where this story turns into the Minecraft piece of it all. But he is like the epitome of like 80s ridiculousness. He's got this amazing pink leather jacket with more fringe than my haircut as a 9-year-old. It is crazy. And I love it so much. Now I need to go find one.
Hmm.
The rest of him can take a hike because he looks like an 1980s, I don't know, WWE
Oh
character,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
He
Good
really
call.
does. It's like yeah. But anyway, he's kind of takes this guy, the kid Henry, under his wing. He's like, hey, I'm amazing, and Henry's like, you're kind of weird. I don't like it. On his way to school, I love the fact that Henry is like the only one out of this entire group of like normal, real people that is, I don't know, logically built. He builds a rocket. He knows he can do it, and he
Hmm.
he like builds this rocket. It ends badly. It ends poorly for him, this rocket explosion. But he's like a builder. He's like a natural like engineer. He really likes to create things. Versus Garrett, who's like just kind of owning the fact that in 1988, he was this video game champion and that it's been like 30 years, but who's counting? No one cares. He never thinks about it, although that's like his claim to fame.
Hmm.
He's like this epitome of these guys who stay in these small towns, right? That are
How's,
just like,
how's,
remember in 1978 when I ran that touchdown home? That was great.
yeah.
Only it's Jason Momoa, so he's kind of
He's
hot doing it.
he's
I
a
don't know.
he's a peaked in high school kind of guy for sure, for sure. And then we have Danielle Brooks who's playing Dawn. She is the real estate agent. She also has a mobile petting zoo for some reason. We don't know why. We never find out why. She just says she has a bunch of side hustles. That's great. Good job, Dawn. So then we also have Jack Black who is playing Steve, and that's kind of what the movie opens up with. It's like young little kid Steve who wants to go into this mine. There's an old guy there that blocks his way. So eventually, as Steve grows up to become full on Jack Black, he's going to make his way into the mine and open up the realm, I guess, to go to the overworld of Minecraft. There, he finds right the path to get there. So that's pretty good. And then kind of the first section of this movie is basically just going through with Jack Black teaching us how the world of Minecraft works. Right? It's like an overview for any like parents out there who are not cool enough to have played Minecraft or anyone who has missed this somehow, like Michaela and I. But it tells you kind of like the rules for how this world works, like where the places are, who like the bad people are, like how like the day-night cycle works, all this stuff. It's like a video game tutorial rolled into one. But Jack Black is playing Steve. Now, Michaela is Steve in the video game. It's like the avatar. That's like the little person that you are.
Yeah.
His name is Steve, right? He's very like nondescript. But in this film, he is Jack Black. Um, Before we get into the rest of the film, I will say, if you are a fan of Jack Black, Michaela, I know that you are. This is probably going to be okay. I think Jack Black is fine, and that's okay because he is very Jack Black-esque in this. He's going to come in, he's going to yell out his dialogue, he's going to do something very crazy for the sake of doing something very crazy, and then he's going to exit himself off screen. So if you're not a fan of Jack Black, this one's going to be tough for you. But if you are, then stick around.
Stick around. Yeah, no, I definitely think look, this is not I don't know how to, I don't think this is a character stretch. I think this film might have been written with Jack Black playing Steve in mind when they were doing the script because it is very Jack Black-esque. If you like School of Rock, you're going to like this. If you're like, oh, my only film that I like Jack Black in is The Holiday, chances are this is not going to be your favorite Jack Black film either. It's great in a lot of sense. I mean, he's got comedic timing that's really good. I think this we talked a little bit about this. I think at the beginning, the script for him between the one-liners between him and Jason Momoa work out pretty well. I feel for the rest of the cast because they did not have a lot to work with, especially. Let's see, what is her name? You just said her name.
Dawn, especially Dawn.
Dawn.
Poor
Oh
Dawn.
gosh. Poor Dawn. Look, she did an amazing job considering her one-liners were like, "Are we serious?" Like that's it. And it was like, "Oh my gosh. Okay, honey." I don't know what we were doing there.
Her
And
script could have
maybe
fit on one page,
it
probably.
could have it probably did. I feel bad. Danielle Brooks is amazing. I feel that her talent was a little bit wasted here, to be honest. And Emma Myers, I've known her from a lot of serious things that she did. She was uh, in she was I've never seen her in a comedic role. And that's
Mhm.
probably on me. Maybe she's in a ton of stuff and I just have missed it. But again, I feel like the dialogue and like the whole idea of what the dynamic that was going on between Natalie and Henry and how Henry, was kind of felt out of place and she felt like he was a burden, but she also really loved him as, because she has to take care of him and he's her brother. And like, I think that kind of was swept completely under the rug by all of the crazy stuff that was happening. And maybe
Mhm.
that was by design. Yeah.
Yeah. Because ultimately it doesn't matter, right? We talked about this a little bit kind of after the film, Michaela, but yeah, Jason Momoa and Jack Black, their dialogue is really good. It is really like bantery. I don't know how much of that was written and how much of it is just those two just like playing off of each other, like total
Yeah.
like buffoonery, right? But like the other three characters like were completely written off in the film, which I thought was kind of strange, I guess. Um, to the humor of this movie, it is very wild. It is very wacky. And right from like the opening scene of the movie, I'm like, this feels exactly like Napoleon Dynamite. And it didn't dawn on me until later uh, that Jared Hess was the director of Napoleon Dynamite. That was his first and probably most noteworthy film. That he has done. That was kind of his first big one. Then a couple of years later, he did Nacho Libre, which featured Jack Black as well. So it's a lot of that. There's even like a tater tot like breakfast pizza, and I'm like, oh yeah, it's tater tots, just like in Napoleon Dynamite. How much more like Napoleon Dynamite could this humor get right now? And it turns out there's a good reason for that. So I thought that was good. Let's talk about the world a little bit here, Michaela. So we were going down into the Minecraft world. I guess it is called the overworld. And then there's like
Yes.
the bad world that is called something else, the nether realm, I think, or something, or the nether world or something like that to that end. But I thought that the world design was really cool. As I mentioned, we get kind of the introduction to the film, and it kind of talks about how it operates, right? You can basically like get these blocks. You can make anything you want. I like it. It shows Steve making like his first house, and then his second house. He makes a pink house, and then he makes like all these different things. He makes like a whole like world. It has like an amusement park on it. And if you can go like on YouTube right now and type in like crazy Minecraft worlds, and people like go absolutely like insane building this stuff. So I thought that was really cool, and it definitely held to the aesthetic of the video
Hmm.
game
Yeah.
very well. Obviously, it was a little bit more polished looking than it does just the actual like I don't know, like little like 8-bit blocks that the video game is made out of. But I thought that it did a really good job and held that really well. And I thought that it always looked believable as far as this like fantasy world was going to look.
Yeah, and I really liked kind of the characterization. We have the pigs. The pigs are bad. Pigs get a
Mhm.
bad rap, and then we
Yeah,
got the worst pig ever. Her name is I'm gonna totally butcher this.
they're piglins, I guess.
They're piglins. Malgosha, she's this gold
Mm.
obsessed piglin ruler of the Nether, and she hates creativity, which is interesting. Um, but she was trying to get the orb of dominance, and that's when Steve like took it. He gave it to his little dog, Dennis. Dennis, hoping I said
Dennis,
yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Dennis the
Dennis the little
Dennis the
dog.
dog. Oh, he's so cute. When he's not, and he looks terrifying until you give him a bone. I guess that's a part of the game that I have missed. But he ends up being able to leave the overworld. He goes and he puts it under Steve's bed, and then 30 years go by, and we find that orb one more time again because who else than Garrett the Garbage Man, Garrison, gets it in an auction full of like junk. And he's like, what is this crazy thing? And of course, there's a sign that says, do not put these two things together because it's real bad. But he does it anyway because he does it anyway. I mean, it's kind of the point of the whole movie. Anyway, and that's how they end up in the world. I think you're right, though. The world itself is pretty fantastical. The characters, there are these green characters that look real tall and I
Mm,
guess they're creepers. And I
creepers, yeah.
again, yeah, they seemed bad. I think they were bad. I
Yeah.
yeah, they were
They
bad.
they were bad. They were bad,
They
yeah.
were bad.
No, yeah, absolutely. And just kind of going through this town, it does turn into kind of this uh I don't know, the hero's journey I don't know, might be a little bit strong for the what was going on here in the Minecraft movie, but it certainly turns into that, right? Because we get our allies, we get kind of our special items and abilities and things like that, and a lot of it is just kind of exploring the different things that Steve had made, and partially that is to propel the story along, but partially it is to expose all of the Easter eggs of this movie. So let's talk about that a little bit, Michaela. Now, you and I obviously were not as familiar with the Easter eggs in this movie, but we are now because every time one happened, the crowd went absolutely berserk, right? They were just like naming things and showing things, and the way they said things must have been in like the vocabulary for the way players work. But we go to like Steve's secret stash, we go to his mine place that he has all these diamonds. Like I guess
Mm.
like Minecraft world diamonds are going to equate to diamonds in the real world, I guess is what Garrett is hoping for, anyways, and all that stuff. It introduces kind of some new technology. Those little red bricks, I guess, are meant to signify electricity, and those came into the game, Minecraft later on. So all that stuff was kind of a big deal. But like I said, most of it was it felt less of like a plot point than to like introduce more Easter eggs for the fans, which I think is great. And a lot of that reminded me kind of what the Mario movie did, in the same way, because there were a lot of Easter eggs in the Mario movie as well, but they were a little bit more hidden. And I don't know
Mm.
that I would. I'm not saying that the Mario movie is better than this one or vice versa, but I think it was a little bit more subtle, which leads me to wonder like how like much legs does like a Minecraft movie have like to do a
Mm.
sequel. You've already done these Easter eggs. Are there a million other Easter eggs in Minecraft that I don't know about because I don't know about Minecraft enough? But that's what it felt like the story was there to me. It was to cater to these moments rather than to
Yeah.
cater to the film. I don't know. It's kind of my takeaway from it, anyways.
Yeah, I will say I think there was a moment when a pig jumps on a chicken and everybody loses their mind. I mean, everybody loses their mind except for us. We're there watching the mayhem. And I, again, don't know if they were like, "Hey, we need a moment where the chicken who gets on the egg or the pig that gets on the chicken happens. Let me concoct this fight scene in a village where this is going to happen, where they automatically have chickens and oh yeah, we can add the part where the chicken gets covered in lava and becomes something you can eat. Okay, cool. I feel like it was more of built out that way instead of like this is a story of Steve who does this stuff, right? And it's not a bad thing. I mean, I think it was a mechanism to get some of these hilarious moments out there, but it did kind of lose it because at the end I was like, what kind of did I watch? Like,
Mhm.
what was the point of the story? How did we even you almost it's not that you don't remember, but I had to really think about, okay, well, Malgolsha, how in the world does she get like she gets vanquished? And going back and rethinking about how that happened, because you're much more focused on all of these Easter egg things that are happening and how it's making the audience just like respond. Um, and so good on you, I think, Minecraft folks, because if that's was what you were doing, you succeeded brilliantly well. I definitely think that people were more uh, raucous and like than they were watching the Mario movie, but I do think that the Mario movie had a lot more subtlety around like and like a story that it wanted to
Mhm.
tell versus these pieces. So just in, and again, those are the two video game movies I've seen recently. So those are the ones that I'm going to compare. But
That's right. Yeah, absolutely. And Jack Black plays a part in both of those. There you go. There you go. There's a side story we should probably bring up here as well. We've got Jennifer Coolidge, who is playing Vice Principal Marlene. who's the vice
Mm.
principal there at Henry's school. She is having a rough time, just having gotten divorced from her husband, I guess, who is also one of the teachers at the school there. But she goes and has kind of a romantic relationship with this villager guy that has stumbled his way through the portal and made it back to the real world, I guess. Then maybe like the funniest, like that was the most Easter eggy part for me because like at the end of the film, I guess the villagers in the game can't really talk, but at the end of the film, he can talk, full on English dialogue, but his voice is Matt Berry, who is hilarious from What We Do in the Shadows and all the things. So I thought that
Yep.
that was really fun. Um, that whole side story bit was like non-consequential, didn't have anything to do with the rest of the film at all, like in any sort of way, but it was pretty funny. And at the end of this, Michaela, I was left thinking three things. I was left thinking that I feel like this is a big world that you and I were being left out of because we didn't understand what was going on. And I think that's true. If you don't know anything about Minecraft, this movie is going to be lost on you in 99 ways, right? For sure. Um, this film is really, really dumb. And really not very good, is my second official takeaway on it. And my third official takeaway is that this movie is hilarious and so much fun. And even though I didn't know anything about it, I still had a really good time watching it.
Yeah. Oh, same. I mean, again, I left the show, and this has not ever happened before, I don't think. But I remember leaving the show with you and turning around and being like, how am I going to talk about this? I don't know what we just watched. It was fun, and probably not going to win any big awards, but it was fun. I really liked it. I would totally watch it again at home. Like, I don't think I'd go and see it again in like IMAX, right? But I would
Mhm.
totally watch it again. And then I would ask the questions of my 10-year-old because he's going to be able to tell me all the reasons why these things are funny and where they came from, and all of that. But yeah, I agree with you 100%. I don't think, I think it did not take itself too seriously either, in that way, right? Like it's got Jason Momoa in a like a weird 80s mullet thing going on. Like he's not gonna no, this isn't gonna win any major, critical acclaim, but I think it doesn't change the fact that it's a lot of fun. And I think it's worth people's time if they're interested in, you know, uh some levity because
Mhm.
it definitely made you think about a whole different world than the one we're currently living in right now. So that's cool.
Yeah, absolutely. So it doesn't matter really what side of the spectrum you're on out there if you're listening to this right now. If you're like a youngster who has played Minecraft, then you're gonna love this. If you're a parent and you're like taking your kid who loves Minecraft to this, you're probably gonna be like, this is real stupid, but at least it's entertaining to watch. It's gonna be kind of on both of those sides for that. It did kind of open the door, I guess, for a potential sequel. There is a post-credit scene, so spoiler warning if you don't want to know about the post-credit scene. But basically, at the end of the film, Steve decides to go back to the real world, which is like a very snap decision. Like that was kind of also very strange how that decision got made. But he decides to go back, and he goes back to his old home. They never really make like a very good case for how long exactly like Steve was gone. Like it's kind of
Mm,
timeless, I guess, in that way. So we don't know if Steve had been in the world of Minecraft for like 1 year or 10 years or like 1,000 years or
right.
anything like that. But he goes back, and who opens the door at his house? You just hear the voice of Kate McKinnon off screen. You don't actually see her, but her name is Alex there. And Alex is the female avatar that got introduced to
Mm.
Minecraft in 2014. So of course that opens the door there for that. So I don't know, Michaela. This was crazy. We didn't even talk about the story very much. Basically, they're just going through and trying to figure out how to get this crystal thing back to, open that portal and go back home. And I did like, I guess I had kind of a nice sentiment there at the end. It was very like
Mm.
unearned because it didn't do any sort of character building, but I did like, he Steve tells Henry that he should stay, right? Because he's a super smart kid. He's good at building things. He would like thrive in the world of Minecraft, and people back in the real world aren't going to, understand or appreciate that and stuff. And he's like, nah, that's okay. I can go do it there anyways. And that was pretty cool. And then yeah, Steve's like, no, I'm gonna just stay and be the king of this domain. And then he's like, nah, I guess I'll go too. So.
Guess I'll go too. Well, he and Garrett operate the game store together, so that's kind of cool. Like they find, he finds his friend. I guess that's what's supposed to take place. I don't know. I guess they're trying to tie it all back. Like Dawn has her zoo. She uses Dennis the
Mhm.
dog as an attraction. That's kind of neat.
Yeah.
Natalie is a total BA. She's bad, man. She's awesome. And she's like teaches self-defense classes. And I love the scene where she's like, she's real little compared to some of these other folks, but she's like wrestling them to the ground and doing giant, I don't know, razorback kicks or whatever they're called, Chuck Norris roundhouse kick thing. It was cool. Yeah, I mean, I like it. I think all's well that ends well. I do think that this definitely opened the door, though, that they're gonna do another Minecraft movie, and that'll be interesting because I'm hoping that there's more content out there for them to string together. We'll see.
So that is it. That is a Minecraft movie. So let us know at home if you've made it out to see this movie yet, or if you're busy in building your own worlds out there. Let us know that if you have like Minecraft world that you want everyone to see, send it to us on social medias. We'll show it. I don't care. We'll take a look at it.
Yeah,
Drink the Video
yeah.
Games can take a look at it. I don't know. I don't know anything about Minecraft. So tell us, inform us, let us know that, and let us know if you make yourself up a dirt block cocktail to have while you're doing it. So you can do that on our social medias. That's at Drink the Movies on Instagram, Threads, Blue Sky, and Facebook.com/drink the movies. If you want to see pictures of our cocktail, episode recaps, links to the merchandise shop, all that stuff can be found on our website, which is www.drinkthemovies.com. And if you want to support the podcast even further, get bonus episodes, hangouts, all that stuff. I've got Drink the Video Games tier on the Patreon now as well for potentially some video game hangouts and stuff like that. You can find that on our Patreon. It's patreon.com/drink the movies. So go check that out. So I definitely appreciate everyone who has taken the time to check any of those links out. Michaela, we definitely appreciate that, but we also truly, truly appreciate anyone who decides to spend an hour or so with us every week. So where can people make sure they're subscribed and do that?
You can find us on Spotify, uh, Apple Podcasts, Good Pods, anywhere where Spotify podcasts are supported and distributed. We are so knocked out every week when we get a new follow on any of our socials. That's super exciting to us. It really means a lot. This is the best job we could ever think. I can't speak for Brian, but it's my favorite thing in the world, and we couldn't do it without y'all. So if you're liking what you're hearing, press the subscribe button. You can share us on all the social platforms. You can leave us 5-star reviews. All of that is just super cool, and it really helps us get all the drink the movies stuff out there.
Absolutely. So that's going to wrap it up here for episode 212. Thank you so much for joining us, and we'll be back to talk to you next time on
Drink
Drink
the
the
movies.
Movies. Insert Jack Black random singing now.
Peaches, peaches. Oh, wrong, wrong,
Wrong,
wrong,
wrong. Get out of here.
wrong song. Whoops, wrong movie.